Hello everyone and welcome to this video being brought to you by Shenmue.com. Shenmue 1 and 2 re-releases were brought to us by Sega and D3T on the 21st of August 2018. And since its release, various fans out there have been developing their own mods for the PC version of the games. The purpose of this video is to look at, download and install some of these fan developed mods and hopefully make your Shenmue games go from looking and sounding like this to looking and sounding like this. If you've been nervous about downloading mods, couldn't find the right instructions, or just didn't know about them, then stick around, as we'll walk you through each step of the process and hopefully get your Shenmue games looking better than ever. Okay folks, time to get started. So before we even begin, it's best to do a little bit of prep work beforehand. It goes without saying that you're going to need a Steam account and a downloaded version of the Shenmue 1 and 2 re-releases on your PC. Once you have those, I would recommend opening up an internet browser and having a couple of tabs open. I would have the Shenmue Dojo forums on one tab and this website here, nexusmods.com/Shenmue/mods. I would also recommend opening up an account at both of these locations. You're going to need to click on various links and also as well download the various mods that exist out there. So once you have those done and you get back onto your desktop, we will begin to look at where to begin in terms of downloading the various mods that exist and seeing what you would either like to have or not like to have. So if we use the Shenmue Dojo forums as a hub to start off with, one of our sections is actually called Shenmue Modding. If you want to head over there, and inside that topic, one of the pinned topics at the top of the forums here, you have the Shenmue 1 and 2 mod database set up by our staff member Jibby over there. Here you will have a full list of various utilities, textures, and other elements for both Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2, and that's primarily what we're going to be using as a guide. There are so many of them, and you feel once you get going and you learn how to install mods, which you will do by the end of this video, you can then start exploring things yourself. But there are a select few we're going to take in here. Some you could class are more or less essential, some are just kind of varied to your own taste. We're going to start off with something very, very small. So if you have Shenmue downloaded onto your PC, when you click the launcher, it will bring you up this menu. This is one of the first mods we're going to actually install. As you can hear, when you click on the launcher, you will have the beautiful Sage Tree track playing. The problem with that though is there have been some choices made by D3T in the developing process that only they know why they made those. We're going to be touching upon them as we go throughout the video, but in terms of this first mod we're going to install, we're actually going to remove this track and we're going to insert another version of Sage Tree which is slightly less uncompressed and sounds a little bit better. We're actually going to be doing this live real time, so you're going to have to bear with me. This is probably going to be a long video. We will timestamp it and we will put whatever links we use in the description on YouTube as well. So we come down here to sound. We're going to be coming back to the Shenmue audio restoration project later on in the video, but for now we're going to be looking at this here, the higher quality audio for the launcher by Geo6161. When you click on these links, it's going to bring you to the various topics that have existed for the development of any of these mods. This one is a very simple one. This is just very simply replacing a sound file on your PC. So as you can see here, that link will take us to the topic that Geo6161 has created, and here's the download link for the sound file that we're going to download and replace the already existing one within the game files. There we go, that's downloading now. What I did on my PC is I've created a folder just here on my desktop called mods folder, and I've set it up so that when I download any files, it's going to go in here. And as you can see, there we go, we have bg_music.wav, so it's a WAV file. So how do we actually install mods, how do we install files, things like that? It's actually not as difficult as you would believe. If you were to go into your PC, what you're going to be looking for is the Steam folder. And within the Steam folder, you're going to have all the Shenmue files and locations of where we're going to need to install things. So on my PC, it's actually just installed on my main C drive. And to locate the Steam folder, we're just going to be going into our program files. It's x86 on mine. We're going to be going down to Steam. We're going to be looking for Steam Apps, Common, ASM Launch, and in here is essentially where we're now starting to find all of the Shenmue stuff. I'm assuming ASM stands for Shenmue. Can't confirm that, but that's what we're going to assume. And in here you'll notice that we actually already have the bgmusic.wav file. That's what we're going to be using, the one we just downloaded, to replace this one. So all you need to do to get our first mod on the go is just right click and delete that out of there. Go to wherever you've downloaded, or wherever you have designated your downloads to go to on your PC. Here we have the one that I just downloaded, and we're just going to put that in here. So what will happen now is that when you fire up the launcher, it will now play this file. I'm not going to lie, my ears are not that fine-tuned, but I will take it on good authority that a lot of these people developing these various sound mods do have a better ear than I do. So that's our first mod done. Essentially, we just replace the audio that you hear whenever you launch the Shenmue 1 and 2 re-release launcher. And that's it. Okay, so for our second mod, we're actually going to be focusing on both games, Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2. And what we're going to be installing is the 16:9 widescreen patch by Nero. Now, the reason we're actually looking at Shenmue, the cutscene from the first game, is because, as you can clearly see, the game was released in a 4.3 format, meaning you get these black borders down the side of the original game, essentially when any cutscene happens in the game. In Shenmue 2, you're going to have letterboxing both on the sides and on the top and bottom. So what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be exiting out of the game, and we're going to be downloading a patch that will completely eliminate that and make Shenmue 1 and 2 full screen on your TV or your PC monitor. So heading back on over to the Shenmue Dojo forums, and heading into the modding section, Shenmue 1 and 2 mod database. We're going to be getting here a lot in this video, so if we actually look at the utilities, you can see there's a various amount of 16:9 fixers and patches and things like that. We've got one from Asperal, Master Chan 777, and finally this one which we're going to use, the Shenmue 1 and 2 16:9 patcher by Nero. So we're going to click on that. That will bring us to the topic, and here it is with a link to the patch. You can read this entire topic if you like on your own time. It was worked on from the 25th of August, essentially after the game was released, and fine-tuned and developed both for Shenmue 1 and 2. There's various GIFs here and things like that that will demonstrate what exactly the patch does. Like I already explained, specifically here as it's showing you with Shenmue 2, you will have the choice to have either letterboxing on the top and bottom to keep that widescreen feel for the game, or you can just do away with it altogether. There will also be the option as well to get rid of the camera icon that appears in cutscenes as well. That will make more sense once we download it. So very simply just downloading on the link. Sorry, clicking on the link to download it. And there we have it downloaded now. It will always be in a zip file, so you will need some sort of unzipping utility, be it WinRAR or 7-zip, and that's downloaded into our mods folder. I'll close that and try and make things always as clean as possible. So we'll minimize this window over this way a little bit. This is my mods folder, like I was explaining. This is where all my downloads will go to, and then we're going to want another window open. Like I was explaining earlier, we're going to be dealing with the Shenmue folders within the Steam folder. So program files, Steam, Steam apps, Common, ASM Launch. So SM1 and SM2 are two folders that exist within the SM launch folder. SM1, as you can guess, will relate to Shenmue 1, and SM2 will relate to Shenmue 2. And these files here are just general files. There's the BG music one we replaced in the previous segment. So what we're going to do is, with the patcher we just downloaded, is we're going to copy the file and paste it into SM1. And we're also going to copy the file and also paste it into SM2. So once that's in there, we're going to right click it and extract it here. And you'll see a few files have been added into the SM1 folder. We will delete the zip file because we don't need it anymore and we don't like clutter. Exact same process for the patcher zip file in the SM2 folder. Right click, extract here. The same files will be added in here, and then we can delete the zip file. So in SM1, one of the files that was installed was this drag and drop Shenmue exe here bat file. And that's literally what we're going to do. We're going to do as it tells us. We're going to take this Shenmue.exe file, this executable file. We're going to click on it and drag it up onto that file. And once you do that, you'll be presented with this screen. And you don't need to do anything. The patcher has done all the work for you. It's, as you can read there, it's successfully patched Shenmue.exe successfully. Press any key to continue, which we will do. Done. So what that means now is, if we fire up Shenmue 1 and open the game, if you remember that opening cutscene with Shenmue, which we seen where we had the black bars, the letterboxing on the left hand side and the right hand side of the opening cutscene. Thanks to Nero's patcher, these should now be gone. We'll just let this play out for a quick second and we'll see how it looks. And there we go. Thanks to the patcher, we have no more letterboxing on the left or the right hand side of the cutscene, and this will apply to all cutscenes throughout Shenmue 1. Once we watch this, we will then move over and do the exact same for Shenmue 2. But I should point out that it isn't exactly perfect. That is probably the decision. That is probably why D3T took the decision to just make the cutscenes 4:3 ratio. You will see sometimes clipping, you will sometimes see characters popping in. That's just part of the way the game is programmed. So word of warning on that, but I still think having the full screen version of the game is worth it, and the cutting and clipping doesn't bother me at all. So that's Shenmue 1 patched. We will just head on over and do the exact same process to patch Shenmue 2. That's dragging the Shenmue 2 exe file over this. We will be presented with the same menu. Now there is a little bit of a difference here in that you're going to be given some options. So basically it asks you the question, do you want to remove the top and bottom black bars from the cutscenes? That's basically your preference if you want to keep that widescreen format. Me personally, I don't. So I'm just going to hit Y because I do want to remove the top and bottom black borders. And then it'll ask you one more question of, do you want to remove the camera icon from the top right during cutscenes? This is a feature that was added into the Xbox version of Shenmue 2, and D3T have used that code and that version for their re-release. Personally, I like things clean. I like to watch the cutscene as it is, so again, I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to hit Y and enter. Once we do that, there we go. Shenmue 2 exe has been successfully patched, and click any key to continue. So that's that done. And that's basically it. There we go. So if you had any issues before with the Shenmue 1 and 2 letterboxing, that's now solved thanks to Nero's patcher. Okay folks, now that we have downloaded and installed the 16:9 widescreen patch, we're going to move on to audio for both Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 re-release. Now not to go into it too much, but as far as people can tell, the audio quality for Shenmue 1 and 2, the original games, was already compressed enough, but for some reason I think the audio that came with the D3T releases was even more compressed than the original games. So what the modders have done is they've worked on an audio restoration project. So if we hop back in here to the Shenmue Dojo forums and we scroll down in the Shenmue 1 and 2 mod database, you will find the Shenmue Audio Restoration Project by Dewey. Now, to download and install that, we're going to need something else first of all, and that is this here. It's called Forklift. It's a Shenmue mod loader by Raymond F. and Davy. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to get downloading and installing Forklift first. So if we click on the link, it'll bring us to the forum topic. And if we scroll down just a little bit, we will find the latest version of the Forklift zip file. So now that we have downloaded that, we'll head into our mods folder, and there it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to go back to our SM1 folder, and we're going to copy, just like the same process with the 16:9 patcher, we're going to copy that file and paste it in here. And we're going to do the same with the SM2. Paste a copy of that in there. And quite simply, we're going to right click, same as before, and extract it here. As well as getting rid of the zip file. It's again added a few files, and it's also added this mods folder here. That's important. We're going to be coming back to that in a second. We need to go into SM1, right click on Forklift, and extract here. We'll get the same result in the SM1 folder, right clicking the zip file and deleting that. Okay, so now that we have downloaded and installed Forklift, we're ready to progress on with downloading and installing the audio restoration projects. Now, again, just going back to the Shenmue 1 and 2 mod database topic at the Shenmue Dojo forums, scroll down to sound, and there you will see a link to the Shenmue Audio Restoration Project by Dewey. If we click on that, it's actually just going to bring us into the topic where he explains why he's developed the mod, and the links are here at the bottom, but the links are going to bring us to this tab which I told you to open at the start of the video. This is the mod section of Nexus mods, and like I say, you are going to need an account with Nexus. And one thing I should say about creating an account with Nexus is when you register, it will seemingly make it appear that you need to take a paid package or some sort of subscription to the Nexus mods website. You don't need to do that. When you register and you fill in your information, you will be brought to a screen with certain monetary values, and you're asked to pick a subscription by checking a box on the left hand side. You don't need to check any of the boxes. What you do is you scroll down to the bottom, and I can't remember the exact wording of the button you click. It could be accept or proceed or continue. Just make sure to click that with none of the boxes next to any sort of monetary figure checked. Leave the boxes unchecked and go down and click the button. That way you'll be able to progress with your registration to the Nexus mods website. Once you have verified your account, going through the usual email links, so on and so forth, make sure you're signed into your account on the website, and then you will be able to download the various mods that are on there. This is the one we're looking for here, the Shenmue Audio Restoration Project. And I should say this is where we're going to download a lot, if not all, of our mods. I think there's only one other thing which we need to download which isn't on Nexus, and that's going to be Special K, which is going to be coming up next. But once we're here on Nexus mods, you're looking for the Shenmue Audio Restoration Project, and once you click into it, you're going to see the same information there we just seen on the Dojo forum topic. And almost every time with these Nexus mods as well, once you click into an individual mod, you're going to see some sort of instructions section where it basically tells you what you need to do. So for the audio restoration, we need to install the Forklift mod loader, which is what we've just done. And then we're going to download the various audio restoration projects. You can download them all, or you can download them one. Whatever you really want to do, that's completely up to you. So instructions 2 and 3 more or less pertain to after you've downloaded the zip files. So we're going to go back up, and you should see here download manual. Click on that, and once you click on that, you're going to be presented with 3 main files which you can download. You have the English dub for Shenmue 1 re-release, the Japanese dub for Shenmue 1 re-release, and the English only dub for Shenmue 2. The reason there's only an English dub so far is that simply the modder hasn't finished doing the restoration for the Shenmue 2 Japanese dub. So there we go. You have 3 files which you can choose to download. I have chosen to download all 3, and we're going to install them, but I already have them downloaded here in my mods folder. This is what you will get when you download each of these. As per usual, a zip folder. Here we have the English dub, Japanese dub, and the Shenmue 2 English dub. Now the reason I went ahead and downloaded these is because it can take some time to download. I have a really good internet connection, and as you can see here, the English dub for Shenmue 1 is 1.8 gig, the Japanese dub for Shenmue 1 is 3.4 gig, and the English dub for Shenmue 2 is 4.7 gig. Even with my good internet connection, it still took me about 90 minutes to download these 3 files. So if you want to go ahead and do that now, you can pause this video and download them. Come back once you have downloaded that, and then we can continue on. Alright, so once you've downloaded those individual files, or those 3 files, this is what you will get here. You will get these 3 files, which we've already highlighted. And we're just going to basically follow the instructions which are on the NEXUS website. We'll go back up to the description and just have a look at the instructions really quickly. So we need to move the scene folder from the zip you downloaded into your mods folder. Alright, so we'll start off with the English dub. What we're going to do is we're going to, I'm actually going to move these individually one by one. Ignore this mods folder, by the way. This is what I've created. Don't let this confuse you with the mods folder that exists within the SM1 and the SM2 folders. If we go into Steam, Steam Apps, Common, SM Launch, SM1 and SM2. If you remember, this is where we have installed Forklift, and it's this mods folder which the instructions are referring to. In SM2 we have the same mods folder. That's the mod folders that the instructions are talking about, so just ignore this for now. This is just a folder I've created for all my downloads to go into. So if we take the English Shenmue Audio Restoration Project English dub out of that folder first, I'm just going to put it here on my desktop, and I'm just going to extract it here on my desktop. Now this will take some time. This one's not going to take too much long. It's only going to take about 10-15 seconds. Shouldn't take too long at all. This folder here, this is what it's extracting. It's called scene. And once this is finished extracting, we will of course delete the zip file. There we go. So we don't need this anymore. We can delete that. And it's this scene folder here which we're going to use. So if we bring up our Shenmue 1 folder, and here's the mods folder which the instructions is telling us to drop the scene folder into. So if we just take that and put it in there, that's done. So that's it. You've installed the Shenmue Audio Restoration Project English dub for the Shenmue 1 re-release. We'll go back and we will get the Japanese dub, bring it up to our desktop, and we will extract that here, just the same process. If this takes some time, which this might do, this is going to take 40 seconds, I'll just skip ahead in the video until we have that folder extracted. Okay folks, that's finished extracting. Now the difference is with the last audio restoration which we extracted was that it extracted a folder that was simply called scene. And that is the name of the folder which we needed to drop into the Forklift mods folder in Shenmue 1. This folder here is called Shenmue 1 Japanese dub restored, no BGM. That is not what we were looking for. We're looking for a folder called scene. So I'm hoping when we click into this, yes we do, there we go. Exactly what we're looking for. The scene folder which we need to drop into the mods folder in SM1. So we're just going to do as the instruction tells us. We're going to select it if I could and drag it over to the mods folder and drop it in there. And there we go. That's the Shenmue 1 Japanese dub now installed. If we click into that, even though there's only one scene folder, there we go. We'll have the English and Japanese folders already in there. So that's Shenmue 1 in terms of audio now modified. We have one more extraction and installation to do, and that is the Shenmue 2 English audio restoration project. So same as before, we're just going to move the zip file to our desktop. We'll extract it here, and again this could take some time, so we will come back once this has finished. Okay folks, there we go, that's finished extracting, and unlike the last one, as you can see, the folder that has been extracted is actually just entitled scene, so that's what we're going to need to move. We're going to need to move this one now into the SM2 folder, since this is a Shenmue 2 audio restoration audio file. So we're going to go into SM2 and we're just going to drag this into the mods folder that's contained in SM2, and that is it. Again, that's how simple it is. We have installed the audio restoration mod for Shenmue 2, the English dub. Fingers crossed if there is a Japanese audio restoration for Shenmue 2. It's just going to be the same process of installation, just like you've seen with the past 3 installations that we have done. So whilst it's not available now, if that does become available in the future, that's all you really need to do. So we can finally just delete this file, and that's that. That's another mod installed. So now that we have downloaded all the necessary sound mods that we can to make the game sound better, we're now going to move on to the visuals and downloading the various textures and high definition mods that exist out there to start making the game look a lot better also. But just like before what we did with the audio restoration itself, we needed a utility called Forklift. We're going to need a utility called Special.K. So before we start downloading all the texture mods to make this game look super great, we're going to need Special.K. So if we head on over to the Shenmue 1 and 2 mod database, you're going to see this link here. Special.K by Caldian. It's going to take us to Caldian's Steam community page, and it's here where we're going to see the download and install section. There's 2 options here. We have vanilla and vanilla plus pre-HUD reshade. Now I'm not going to go into that too much, but pre-HUD reshade is necessary for when we're going to use reshade later on to make the game visually look very unique. We'll come to that later on in the video. For now, we're going to get both of these. We're going to get the vanilla plus pre-HUD reshade for Shenmue 1, and we're just going to get the vanilla Special.K for Shenmue 2. This can take a bit of a while, so clicking on this here is what will allow the download. I'm going to click that both for vanilla and for vanilla plus pre-HUD reshade. It's going to download to both of them. It can take a little bit of time. I'm going to reconnect with you once they have both downloaded. Then we're going to extract them into the relevant folders. So I'll check back with you guys in a second. Okay, now we're back and we have downloaded the 2 zip files. We have SM1RS, the RS standing for ReShade. So we're going to take this one first of all, the ones that ends in RS, and we're going to drop that into the SM1 folder. The SK Shenmue is just the vanilla Special.K, so we're going to take that and we're going to drop that into the SM2 folder. So we'll go into the SM1 folder first of all, and we're going to right click on the zip file and extract it here. This can take some time, so once again I'll connect back with you guys once it's complete. Okay, so that's finished extracting into the SM1 folder. We will get rid of the zip file And what you'll notice is there's quite a few files here that's been added, but also this box here, the SK-Res. ReShade folder has also been added, but like I say, we're going to come back to that later on in the video. For now though, what we'll do is we'll click into the SK-Res folder. Just keep clicking through until you come to these two folders here, the 00_DRO and the map cache folder. What we're going to do here is, if we click into the 00 folder, you're going to see some textures. We don't really need this folder. We're going to be downloading a standalone HD texture pack, so we can right click this and just delete it from here for now. It really isn't necessary for what we're going to do. And then if we head into the SM2 folder, we're going to right click and extract it here. I can actually hang on with you guys because it doesn't take as long at all. There's not really much added there because it's just the vanilla special K. There's no SK-Res folder added at the moment. But don't worry about that, we're going to get that now as we go in and download the HD environment texture overhaul mods. So first of all, for Shenmue 1, we're going to click into this one. And we're going to go down, check the instructions. Unzip Chaldean Special K mod to SM1, which we have already did. And we're going to unzip the texture mod to SM1. And that's exactly what we're going to get right now. We're going to go up to manual. Click on download and it starts. Shouldn't take no longer than 15-20 seconds. And there we go, that should be it downloaded. We can bring up our SM1 folder, have that ready, and then wherever you guys have downloaded the environmental texture pack, we're going to bring that over and drop it into the SM1 folder, right click it, extract here. Get rid of the zip file. No clutter. So what that's done is, you may not have noticed any changes, but if you actually click into the SK-Res folder, we deleted the 00_DRO folder, and now because we have downloaded the texture pack, we now have this new streaming folder, and again it's got the textures in here, what we're looking for. If you're wondering what it looks like instead of booting up the game, the good thing about NEXUS mods is that it does come with like an imaging tab here which you can click, and the modder will have uploaded various images of what the mod actually looks like. So as you can see here, the Hazuki Residence exterior, you can see it benefits from new flagstones, more high detailed plush grass. If we click over here, you can see the Yamanose Shrine area. This is how it looks regularly, but with the mod we now have a bit more nice grass. New flagstones along the wall with a better asphalt surface, and that's more or less what that what the mod does. Whenever you're playing it in game, it looks amazing. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go get the Shenmue 2 environment mods. Now these can be a little bit difficult to find for some reason on NEXUS mods, for reasons unknown. The search option doesn't really give us anything. I'm going to try it here now. Hang on a second. If we do a search for Shenmue, it doesn't really give us much. So we'll close the file name. And again, just still doesn't give us any real Shenmue 2 mods. So what I'll do is I'll go to mods itself. And once you click on this mods tab, you will have this option just here where it says games. Click on this blank space, and it will present you with a whole list of options, but search area here. Just start typing in Shenmue, and you will see Shenmue 2. Click on that, and then it should bring you up the mods, which are pretty well hidden for Shenmue 2. So we have some funny jacket mods for Rio. We have a HD shoeing. We have a STFU memo book music mod, which I'm assuming has something to do with how loud the Shenmue 2 notebook music is. HD environmental texture overhaul, which we're going to get. HD jeans and Rio HD jacket. So we will start getting all this stuff now. We click into HD environmental textures. We'll have a look at the images first of all and see what the modder has done. There you can see it's better brick walls on the buildings of Queen Street, better paving, better cobblestones for Workers Pier, The walls in the come over guest house are a little bit more cleaned up. There's a before and after shot from South Carmian Quarter. We're going to have a more detailed asphalt road and concrete walls. This one here from the top of the Three Birds building in Kowloon, you can see the better ground work that's been done. The stairs in Kowloon buildings have been cleaned up. The stair textures have been cleaned up. Of course, you can make the argument that Kowloon maybe isn't meant to look like that. It's meant to look rustic and rundown, and that is purely a personal preference. Me personally, I think these games look absolutely fantastic with a bit more polish on them, and that's exactly what these excellent fan mods do. So if we go down to the install instructions, we have unzip Chaldean Special K mod, already did that. Unzip the texture mod to the ASM2 folder, not difficult, we're going to do that now, but we do have a note here. It says, if textures appear black, be sure the following line is set correctly in your dxgi.ini file. Textures.Cache, allow unsafe ref counting to equal true. We'll come back to that in a second and we'll explore that. So for now, we'll just download the mod and we'll get it installed. We'll fire up the game and see what it looks like. Okay, so that's now downloaded and we're ready to just drag this over and drop it into our Shenmue 2 folder. Go in, right click and extract it here. Delete the zip file. And there you can see now it's added the skres folder inside the SM2 game files. And now you can see there's all the textures that are being used. But we did have a message basically saying we need to check for textures appearing black. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire up the game and we'll see if we can see any black textures, and then if we do, we can then begin to make the necessary changes there that the modder has recommended. So I was going to say I'll fast forward the video, but I may as well do this real time with you guys. That bar at the top I should have explained, that will happen with Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2. That lets you know that Special K is running and you have implemented it correctly. There's various options there. I'm sure you could bring up the Special K menu, which, to be honest with you, we don't need. I'll just hit accept and then close that. So we're going to get into Shenmue 2 here. I'll fire up a save. And we'll see if we can spot any black textures or anything like that. Okay, so the sea. You can see the sea out there is gone. That looks pretty black to me. So I think we're already getting a good... Oh, there you can see like character models' faces are black until you approach them. There, how you can see right there, the fortune teller is not looking too great until we come close to her. So it's quite clear then that we need to make that fix that the modder suggests. So it's time to start looking into that. We'll shut the game down and get rid of the launcher, and we'll just read his instructions one more time. If textures appear black, be sure the following line is set correctly in your dxgi.ini file. And we're looking for Textures.Cache, allow unsafe ref counting to equal true. So what we'll do is we'll jump into the SM2 folder and we're looking out for a file called dxgi.ini. There it is there. I'm near sure I need to open this with the notebook, but it's not giving me an open with option on my PC. That might be because I already have it set to open these files with the notebook. So if I just double click on it, yep, there we go. So we're looking down here and we're looking for Texture.Cache. Let's see if we can find it. Textures. Texture.Cache, here we go. Allow unsafe ref counting equals false. So we need to change the false to true per the modder's instruction. We will go to file and save that and close it. So that's now that file changed, we will fire up Shenmue 2 again and we'll see if that solved the problem. I'd like to think it will have solved the problem. The instructions were pretty clear and straightforward, so... Alright, we'll load up the same save file. And hopefully this time we'll see the C. That'll be a good indicator saying that... Yep, there we go. Everything looks good. Bit of pop-in on the fortune teller, but that's the game, that's not the mod. And we'll continue on. Yep, and there we can see the new cobblestones. We can see all the brickwork over there. I don't want to walk too far forward because this is a brand new save file essentially, and this will trigger the cutscene. But you can see there the brick walls and the cobblestones. The textures look great. So that's the environmental textures for Shenmue 2 installed. So now that we've installed Special K and we have installed the environmental textures for both games, we're going to jump in now and start installing the various mods we have for Shenmue 1. So essentially we're just going to have our SM1 folder here at the ready, and we're just going to click into these NEXUS mods here and basically one by one start going through them. So we'll go with the HD Rio outfit. Go down and check the instructions, unzip to Special K, and just unzip in the SM1, easy, up to manual, download. And here we have some options as well. We have HD clothes, and we have HD clothes with alternative jeans look. I think we'll give the alternative jeans look a miss for now. And we also have one here, HD jacket fix. This fixes missing HD jacket textures in stores and cutscenes. So obviously we want that to work. So we'll click on the first option. And we'll click on the third option. Really doesn't take too long at all for those to download. We'll bring up our mod downloads. There we go. Jacket fix and clothes. Just drag them over and into the SM1 folder. Right click, extract here, and delete that. Right click, extract here. Says it's already got files injected. We'll just hit yes to all, and we'll delete that. So if you want to, you may not have noticed anything happening there, but if you want to check that you have the textures, you just simply go into skres, inject textures, and I think they might be in the streaming folder. Yep, so there you can see along now with the environmental textures. This one here is the jeans and t-shirt, and here we have various of the jacket textures, and there's the tiger on the back as well. So they're installed. I'm not going to break up this section of the video, we're just going to power right through now. We'll go back to SM1, we have it ready. We'll bring up NEXUS again. And the next one up here is, the next two up actually. I'm going to let you guys you should be familiar with how to install these mods by now, so I'm going to leave the HD Coke Machine and the HD Rio Face and Hair. The instructions are in both of them if you want to go ahead and download them. It's the same process where you just download the texture and unzip it in the SM1 folder. But the problem I have with the HD Coke Machine is that it is just that there, what you see in the image. If we go in here to the Images tab, that's exactly it. Now you might be thinking that's great, that looks like Coke, that's awesome. It is awesome, it does look fantastic, but the problem is that when you actually go to use the vending machine, if you have played Shenmue and you know after you put the money into the machine, you'll see Rio's finger come up to pick cola, orange, grape, so on and so forth. When you do that, it doesn't show you the Coke decal that you can see on the right hand side there. It just reverts back to the Jet Cola cans. And then when you take, when the can comes out after you make your selection, There can be some texture issues, and it can look as if Rio's just drinking out of a black can. And for me, that just kind of ruins the immersion a bit. So all you're really getting is literally just the standalone vending machine, which you can run past and look at. You don't really want to interact with it, because then it'll start giving you the Jack Cola and the Bellwoods brands. And for me, that's not really... I would prefer it if I could actually see the Rio drinking like a can of officially branded Coca-Cola and things like that. So I'm going to give that one a miss. This one here, Rio's face and hair. This is just a personal preference. I don't really like, because it kind of freaks me out a little bit. If we look at the Rio's image here, you can see... First of all, sometimes in the game you can see the face here disconnects a little bit from the main model. That doesn't really freak me out. What does freak me out is that there's a little bit of pre-pubescent 17-year-old style stubble along his sideburns, his chin, and his under his nose here where a mustache would be. And he also has like realistic skin, like spots and stuff, which you can't really see from this image, but if you were to download it and install it and play the game, you would see it. It really, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't really like the mod. And not to take credit away from the guy who's worked on the mod. 10 out of 10, great job, great work. It's just not for me. So for this video, we're going to bypass those two, and we're going to move on to this. We're going to go with the Hazuki Residence interior. We're going to go with the HD notebook, the HD skybox, the Hazuki Dojo HD textures, the dxgi.ini I'm not too fussed on. It's just again a personal preference. And then finally the Debuita New Face HD texture files. So we'll start off with the Hazuki Residence interior. If we scroll down, just check the instructions really quickly. So this one's a little bit different, okay? We need to download this and unzip it inside the MipMapCache folder. And you get there by clicking into SM1, into the SKRes folder we now have a bit of experience with, inject textures mipmap. So that shouldn't be too difficult. We'll click manual, get the file downloaded, which is 122 megabits, and it's taken my internet a little bit of time to download, so we can skip ahead in the video once that's completed. Okay, that's just finished downloading now. Before we go ahead with the installation, we'll click on the images just so you guys can get a bit of an image comparison as to see what this looks like. So this is the bedroom of Ryo Hazuki, which we all know and love. We have his mattress, his pillow, his blanket, the textures on the walls. With this mod, I feel like it could be a little bit divisive, and you can look at this image and decide if you want to download this or not, but after Ine-san has gotten out the paint cans, this is now what it will look like. The walls are a lot brighter, a lot more fresh looking. There's a more high detailed blanket and pillow, mattress, and this extends actually throughout the entire house. There's some wood textures updated and things like that, which unfortunately there is no images here for. But I'm going to install it anyway. So like the instructions said, we need to install this in the MipMapCache, which is in SKRes, inject, textures, and there it is there, MipMapCache. So we'll bring this file over, put it in there, right click and extract it here. And there we go, we'll have the Hazuki Residence interior installed. We'll go back up to our SM1 folder, and next up we have the HD notebook. Alright, we go and look at the... I'll actually make it so that we go in and look at the images then, first of all. So there it is. It basically gives you a real leathery, textured notebook, and also a bit more yellow and lined pages with a margin. It's just a little bit different. Again, just giving the game a little bit of a fresh vibe. The instructions for this is that we will need Chaldean Special K, which we have, then paste the contents of the zip file into the SM1 folder. Easy. By this stage now, you guys should be flying through this. Very quick download. There it is there. We'll just pull that over into the SM1 folder. Right click, extract here, and delete the zip file. That's the notebook done. Like I said, we're just going to fly through these now. You guys should have this technique down. You should be a bit familiar with it now. We'll always go in and check the instructions to see if there's any little bit of differences. Next up, we'll have the HD skybox for Shenmue 1. We'll go into the images, we'll have a look here and see. And there we go. There. In fairness, the sky in Shenmue isn't too bad. Unfortunately, this doesn't fix the swaying, the gyroscopic swaying which you get with the re-releases. That is hard-coded into the game, unfortunately. But in terms of just different textures and things like that, and there you can see that it's just a little bit more orange as we get into nighttime and things like that. There's a lot more stars added to the nighttime sky. And I actually think there's a little bit of instruction with this one in terms of, yep. So basically all of the skybox has been completed by the modder, except for when it snows. Unfortunately, he hasn't worked on the snow skybox. And there he actually mentions there that there may be further work in the future to address the spinning sky that can happen in the re-releases. As he says there, it's hard-coded into the game. So, to install this you will need Chaldean Special K mod, we got it. And to inject the new textures in the game, simply extract the new texture files into the inject directory. So that's a little bit different again, we need to put this in the inject directory. So we'll download the skybox. Again, doesn't take long. And we're looking to find the inject directory in the SM1 folder. So we'll go into skres, and there's the inject folder. So we need to put it in here. So we'll click in here. We'll bring this over and we'll extract it here. There we go. So there we have the HD skybox folder. And we don't need these two. We don't need the readme or the zip file. We can get rid of those, delete them. And we'll go back up to our SM1 folder. So we'll get back out of that. Next up is the Hazuki Dojo HD textures. We'll go into the images and give them a check. And you can see there from the images, it just really makes the dojo look a lot better. The wood is a lot more textured, the wall scroll's a lot more textured, but it just looks fantastic. And if we scroll down to see if there's any instructions under description, we're going to need the... Okay, so this is important actually. So this is Chaldean's ReShade, which we have installed. If you've been following my instructions, we have installed the ReShade. We've only installed the vanilla on Shenmue 2, so fingers crossed you have been following my instructions. If you haven't, I sincerely apologise, but you will need to go back then and install the pre-HUD with ReShade version of Special K. So for this, the textures need to be placed in the Steam Apps, SM1, skres, inject textures. And that looks to be about it. There's no download button up here, but that's because it took me a while and a bit of help from a friend to figure out that the download is actually in here. It's in the files section for some reason. I'm not too sure why it does that. So we'll just click on manual download. Fingers crossed it won't take too long. It'll take about 10-15 seconds. There we go. Let's just check one more time. We need to put this in the textures folder. So there it is there. We need to find the textures folder. So SM1, skres, inject textures. So there we go. We just need to drop this in here. Right click and extract here. There we go. There's our textures there for the dojo. We don't need the zip file or the readme. We can get rid of those. And we'll go back up to the SM1 and 2 options. What's next? So next up, like I said, I'm going to skip the Ine-san HD. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's not bad. It's just I just prefer her looking the way she does. If we're going to look at the images really quickly, you can see the differences right there. Her face is a little bit more smoothed out and orange. What is great though is the texture of her gown. It's really high detailed, and it does look awesome, but it's just a personal preference. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. We will move on to the Dbuita new face HD textures, and we need to download this and place this into the streaming section of the folder. So skres inject textures streaming, and the mod changes 18 textures, walls and some doors. So we'll go into the images and we'll check this out. Yep, there you go. There's new brick textures on Smiley Flower Shop. We have new wall textures throughout the Dbuita. We actually can go back there and see the difference. So that's what it looks like, just regular. And then when we upraise it, there's just a lot more texture work that's going on around the Dbuita. So we'll get that downloaded. And we'll get that installed. Let me just check the description really quickly again. Okay, so this needs to go into the streaming folder of SM1. So Dbuita new face, SM1, skres inject textures streaming. We'll open that folder, we'll drag this over, drop it in there, right click, extract here. And there we go. We can delete the zip file, we don't need that. And there it is there. There's an entire folder then for random HD textures. That'll be all the Dbuita textures. And I think that might be about it actually, in terms of visual upgrades. Yeah, we've just really like various, there's the passport jacket if you wanted to take out the HD one we have installed and replace it with the passport. We have a Rio black jacket if you want them just to look a little bit different. You have DualShock 4 button prompts if you're using a PS4 controller on the PC. There's Dreamcast button prompts in here. This is now where it begins to get into the ReShade packages, which we're going to come to in a minute. On the second page we have original Dreamcast textures. Now we have just injected a whole load of textures into the game to make it look better. I would assume if you install this mod, which I haven't done, so I'm just assuming, it will just revert everything back, as it says, or reverts everything back to the HD in-game textures of the original Dreamcast. The benefits of that are that you're going to have the original branding like Timex and things like that, so it could be worth a look if that's what you're interested in. The only other files that exist here, again, are just a couple more. There's a jacket mod for, it's test mod. There's another ReShade package there, and then there's just some tools here which are more for developers for extracting models and things like that. So that pretty much covers all of the Shenmue 1 mods that I want to install. What we're going to do is we're going to fire up the game. So we're going to close everything and we're just going to fire it up and we're going to take a look. We'll fire up a save file I already have and we'll just see how the game looks like. Alright, so I'll just go into Hazuki Residence. We'll pick this one. So here we are in Rio's room, and there we can already see the difference in this game. You can see the higher quality of Rio's jacket, his jeans. Rio's room looks completely different actually. The walls are clean and white and painted, as well as the cupboard walls. We have Rio's new bed. His blanket, his pillow, his mattress. We have a new wooden bookshelf. We have a new wooden desk. It just looks great. We have a new carpet as well, a new floor. Which is really highly detailed actually. That's crazy. If we go out into the Hazuki Residence, you can see all the walls still are just, now the place looks a lot cleaner, a lot brighter. We go into Fuxan's room. The new bookshelf upraised. If we go out to the main hall here, you can see the stonework at the entrance has changed to a much more realistic stone texture. We'll head outside and we'll check out what it looks like out here. This is great. It shows you that all the mods are working perfectly as well. Yep, here we go in the Hazuki Residence exterior. There we can see the flagstones. The grass is just looking so... It looks so alive. It looks so much better. It really does. We will head around... Well, we can check out the fish. We can see the fish a lot more clearly with the new water texture. If we head on down the Hazuki Residence, we can head on into the new look Hazuki Dojo. Which we can see, it just looks so much more high detailed. You can see the wall scrolls over there are much more high detailed. The ceiling, it looks so good. The grain and the wall just looks so detailed. If we we'll leave the dojo, and I think there's a lighting issue as well. I'm not too sure if that's the work of the mods or it's just the game itself. We'll head out into the open world. We'll check out Yamanose and we'll see how the ground looks out there. Yep, you can see the little grass path straight away, and the flagstone walls. They just look so much more detailed and in-depth. Ryo's jacket just looks great. His jeans look great. The asphalt now that we're running on, you can see the jacket there. It's just a lot more detailed. I can see the football there looks black. I'm wondering if it's possible then to change the texture values like we did with Shenmue 2. I might have a play around with that. Plus as well, as you can see as well, we have now the full screen cutscene presentation, unlike before. Here we can see the Yamanose Shrine. It's now got proper soil, grass below it. And it just looks a bit more clean as well. And we'll, yeah, like I mean, even the textures here, they just look so much more crisp. Along with Ryo's jacket as well. It starts to look like such a better game as well, so it does. We'll head on down into Yamanose really quickly. And we'll check out some of the new textures that we got with the Debuita facelift mod package. So already you can see the detail here in the textures of the side walls. The ground is a bit more textured. You can see all these concrete walls and these concrete buildings just look a lot more detailed, a lot more textured also. It makes it look a lot more clean and crisp. The stairs have better textures, the ground here have better textures. There's new textured shop sign textures here. There's a bit better textures here in the park. And this carries on. This carries on all the way through Debuita. You can see new shutters there. New shutter textures, new brickwork. Run down to Smiley Shop. You can see the new brickwork there. New brickwork on Aida Barbers. Just new shutter textures. It just looks great, and of course as well we have the new skybox as well. It just looks a little bit more naturalistic. It looks a little bit more smoothed out. The clouds look a little bit more softer. Definitely a fantastic mod. Definitely fantastic work done by the modders. It really is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first part. We are going to be moving into ReShade in a moment, which isn't going to take long. But you guys, so far, I hope you've enjoyed the guide to installing the mods. If you have any issues, please pop them in the comment section below. I will try my best to get answering any of them if anybody's having any issues. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, and if you're happy enough to bow out now, with these mods, then that's cool. Thank you so for watching. The next part of the video, we're going to look at ReShade and how we can really make this game look even more better. Welcome back, folks, to the last part of the Shenmue Dojo modding video guide. What we're going to be doing now is just looking at the last thing we can install, and that is this. Down here you have various options here for something called ReShade. Now ReShade is a program that can alter a game's look in terms of its lighting, and there's various complicated options that come within ReShade. And what these are basically presets. Preset packages that you can just download and install, just like we have done the rest of the fan-made mods, and it will automatically be tweaked to Shenmue. Now these are only available for Shenmue 1 at the moment, and I'm not aware of anybody creating them for Shenmue 2. That is why we downloaded the Special K with pre-HUD ReShade baked into it. What that means is that when you have ReShade downloaded, it can affect all areas of the lighting that appears on your screen. So if you were to bring up, like say, the notebook or the menus, the in-game menus while it's playing Shenmue, the ReShade could really affect that and blur it and possibly even make them unusable. So with the pre-HUD ReShade, this means you can download any of these lighting ReShade packs, but the menus and things like that will still look fine. Now, there is a few of them here. We have realistic lighting for Shenmue, Suburbia I can't even say that word. Tristesse. Apologies to Tim Schweizer for that. Suburbia Tristesse, Tenebra, Shenmue ReShade preset, and Shenmue HD Just Enough ReShade. I'm not going to lie, I haven't tried any of these. I've just very quickly downloaded this one here, the realistic lighting for Shenmue. So we're going to go ahead now and install that and fire up the game and see how it looks. The installation seems to be very simple enough. Install the regular version or Kaladin's version of ReShade first. We have already did that because we've downloaded the Special K with pre-HUD ReShade. So we have already did that. We then need to download and unzip the files into the Steam Apps Common SM. Okay, so this just goes straight into the SM1 folder once we have it downloaded. So we'll click on Manual. So he actually gives us the options anyway for regular ReShade or for Chaldean's mod. We have Chaldean's mod, so we'll download this one. And there it is already in. So if we bring up our file, then we're looking for the SM1 folder, which is there, and per the instructions we just need to drop this in here, right click, extract here. I would say yes to all if you do get that, and delete that. Let me just check the instructions one more time just in case I've messed anything up here. Unzip the files in SM1, we have did that. We need to turn off Bloom from the in-game menu. We will do that. Let's just read here. The resolution of the game may change the result. I'm using this profile at 3840 by 2160, so some tweaking could be needed if you use a lower resolution. For example, I highly recommend you reduce the film grain. Okay, we'll take note of that. If you're having problems with the depth buffer not working as expected with the Chaldean's mod installed, follow these steps. Open ReShade 64.ini in the Steam. Okay. Find the string ReShade depth input is reserved and change that value to 1 safe. Okay. So it's giving us a little bit of instructions there if you run into any problems. So we'll keep that there for now, and we'll fire up Shenmue 1 and we will have a look and see how the ReShade affects the game. I guess what we can do first of all actually is we can boot up the opening cutscene of the game and see how that looks like with the ReShade. with ReShade applied. Now it did give us some instructions there, things like we need to turn bloom off, which we will go in and do here straight away. And then it also said there was an issue with the film grain, because the modder has it set for using an extremely high resolution. So we'll go in here and we'll check out the options. We'll go to graphics. I already have bloom turned off, so that's okay. We'll start up a new game and we'll see what the opening cutscene cutscenes like with ReShade. Let's have a look and see. Yep, so straight away I can't see issues with the film grain, but apart from that it does look really good. Okay, so I do notice an issue with the film grain right off the bat, so I'm going to go in and make that change. That was kind of something we were prepared for by the modder's instruction. So I'm just going to close the game down. And we'll let that play for a second and read the instructions just one more time. So we need to reduce the film grain. So we need to find out how to do that. I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of menu option for the ReShade. Let's have a look and see if any instructions come up. There we go. Press Shift and F2 to open ReShade's configuration menu. So Shift and F2. And here we go. Now we can get in here and we can actually assign these all to keys. That's actually pretty handy. So we're looking for the film grain. This must be it here now. Film grain I'm going to set to a key. We can set it to F, I suppose, maybe, possibly. It's not letting me pick a key for it, which is absolutely fine. So we'll actually just uncheck the box for film grain 2. And reload it. Alright. And we're actually, okay, so we're actually in the opening cutscene and there's a bit of you can actually see ReShade being applied to this. It actually doesn't look too bad at all. The lighting actually does look fantastic. It really actually does. The lighting actually does make the game look sensational. And very cinematic as well. I wonder if it's possible to turn off how the background is blurred, the depth of field. That could be something we could look into as well, which is mentioned in the modder's instruction. But we'll exit out of this and we'll jump into the opening cutscene again and see how it looks. If it looks better without the film grain. I can actually tell straight away it really does actually. There we have the HD Rio jacket. Looks really crisp, looks great. The lighting, I actually think this looks fantastic. This is amazing work by the modding community, it really is. It just looks a lot more cinematic. Not only with the ReShade, but we can actually see the implementation of the environmental texture mods. We also have this in full screen mode with the Nero patch. The modding scene has done an excellent job. Even Rio's jacket just looking as leather and crisp is what it does. Okay, so the ground with the textures there is a bit cut out. I'm just going to assume that's got to do with the that it being a cutscene. That's not too big of a deal in my book anyway. We'll just let it get into the dojo and we'll see how it looks, and then we will wrap it up. Already the dojo looks so much better, it's so much more detailed. Alright, so that's basically ReShade installed and all of the Shenmue 1 mods I would be very happy with installing. I guess there's nothing left but now for you guys just to go and play the game and enjoy all the work that's been done. Like I said before, if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the link below. If you have any tips for any of the mods, for ReShade, if you know of any mods being worked on in the future, please by all means drop a comment below and let us know. Of course, if you haven't as well, please leave us a like and subscribe. Guys, it's been a blast giving you a step-by-step walkthrough of how to download this stuff. Hope we're all looking forward to Shenmue 3, and please enjoy the re-releases until then.